Howdy folks, my name's Colin McCrazy and welcome back to CMC's Inbox. This is where I answer your questions from my inbox, of course. If you want to send your own, you can send it down in the Google form in the description down below. I got a link down there. You can also choose your own gameplay, which is neat. It's pretty easy to fill out. It's not super hard. And I usually answer the more advice questions. The whole reason I have the inbox is for you to ask life advice, something that maybe you need another opinion on. Could be something kind of simple, but I more or less take the more complicated questions just because they're easier to make videos on, and there's more context involved in those questions, which I quite enjoy. But this week we have a more philosophical question, and I thought it was quite interesting, so I'd like to talk about that one for this week. And we also have a no preference video, so they did not choose a gameplay that they wanted. So I kicked it back a bit and did some War at War, because I've been posting a lot of Battlefield 6 and Black Ops 7, so I thought it would be a good change of pace to kick it old school and go back to the old CODs that I know a lot of you guys enjoy. And so the question for this week is, if you were given the chance to completely start over in life, same age but with everything reset, no job, no money, no connections, just your knowledge and memories, would you take it? Why or why not? And if you did start over, what would you do differently this time to build the kind of life you truly want? So when I first read this question, I was like, oh, this is definitely a typical question I've been maybe asked before, I've seen asked before, and I've answered myself, not in a video, but just on my own time. And it's a fun one to ponder, but this one's asked a little differently, and it got me thinking quite a bit. I had to read it a few times to be like, is this exactly what they're asking, or is it a different one? And the kicker for this one is you start over, but you were the same age. And I thought that was really interesting, but also like kind of a terrible trade-off, to be honest. I feel like the whole reason behind these types of questions where like you would do a hard reset on your life, everything that you've done or accomplished or have lived through pretty much gets set back to a fresh restart for you to make different choices. You may keep the same memories. Usually that's like the concept, like they've answered or asked in here as well. You get to keep all the knowledge that you've had, but you have to restart from ground zero. Basically, you start back as a newborn, whenever you were born. You go back in time, and all the decisions that you made in life, you can either change them or leave them the same if you want. That's usually the question. But this one's a bit different, and I don't know if they didn't put in like the time skip part, or like if I just reset everything from today, but the age stays the same. So I'm taking it two different ways. If I were to stay as I am now, in 2025, I'm 25 years old, and just reset everything. I don't have a job, I don't have money or connections, I just have what I know. No, that would be a terrible trade-off. That would be so bad. I'd basically lose all the stuff that I've gained at this point, and it's 2025, and it's harder to get money than ever. I feel like nowadays, at least, especially from like a fresh start like that. So I don't think there's really room to like build, especially when you're older like that, because usually when you're younger, that's where more of your opportunities come alive, and if you don't take advantage of them, eventually when you get too old, I mean, people don't, especially in like the American workforce, like people just don't want you anymore in that regard. And I don't think that's not a good trade-off at all. Just in regards to just like financial dependency. Also, like no connections. Like I'd lose all my great friends that I know about. I guess maybe that includes family. I have no clue, but that would really suck. That would suck balls. Especially like if I was still in 2025, that would be really terrible. I thought that was like a terrible trade-off. No, I would definitely not want to do that. If it was more you're going back in time but you're staying the same age, so if I'm in 2000 and I'm 25 years old, now that's a little more interesting. But I would definitely not take that change. Not at all. I would not take that opportunity. Even if I could be like rich off my ass, like I invest in Bitcoin really early when it comes out, and when no one knows about it, or I hit like every lottery throughout the years without making it too suspicious and have CIA and FBI agents come after me. Yeah, I could do that and be rich beyond my wildest dreams, but I'd also be like twice the age of all my friends, so that would be really weird. And seeing them grow up as well, I'd be like, hey, I know you, and they're like, this is some random 35-year-old, 10 years down the line when they're 10. that knows me, my name, where I live, my address, like just everything. Like that'd be really weird. I'd probably get thrown in jail. To be honest, I'd go straight to jail. Um, but there probably are some people that would like do some crazy shit with this and like take that chance and go back in time. But I don't think I'm one of those people. And I think the most important thing about that is like this last question that they asked. If I did start over, what would I do differently this time to build the kind of life I truly want? I think I'm already there. I think I'm already building the life I truly want right now. I think that's the biggest thing I could take away from this question is I don't think I'm in a bad spot, at least personally from my perspective. Other people might look at me and be like, I could be doing better. I could definitely be doing worse, that's for sure. And people could self-reflect and say, maybe I could be doing better if I had a chance like that. Or maybe I'm not doing too bad right now. It's all really about a perspective, and I am definitely trending towards, I think, the way I want to live and the things I want to do. This YouTube channel is a part of it, and interacting with you guys is a big part of it for sure. And I love answering questions like these. And I'm really interested for whoever asked this question. If they're watching this, hello, hi, thank you for putting in this question. I want to know your answer if you decided to answer your own question. And for anybody else that is watching this video, if you have any interesting perspective or like some type of strategy you would you would want to put in the comments and give me a giggle or two, or maybe ponder a little more and be like, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. But yeah, that's today's question. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.